When the leaders of the community want to sit down with you, they don't sit down for mutual understanding. They sit down to impose their way, saying, take this off, leave your teacher. That's what they tell us. I wasn't created for you, brother. I am free to choose my way. And so are all these other brothers. How can you impose something? This is domination. This is megalomania. We weren't created for you. We're following the deen of Allah according to the Sharia. How can you impose on us? And they ask us to leave our teacher, the one who has taught us and given us the time and the care. Not just come in a classroom and give us a class and then walk out after 1 hour and he's there for a few questions after maybe. No. A man who welcomed us into his heart before into his own house. A man who sat with us hours on end, teaching us, advising us in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A man who has taught us what we go and share across the world, in our communities and outside our communities. A man who they ask us to leave because they hear rumors and they don't like these things, or because we do not follow their way, when we have never ever wanted anything except good for our fellow brothers in our community. Sincerely. Believe me, there's a story behind this that'll be on a DVD one day, and then we'll laugh. This teacher, we will never leave this teacher. This teacher is us and we are him. Anybody who says anything about him is saying it about us. And anybody who says anything about us is saying it about him. So don't let them come and say to you, nah, problem nati. Shaykh Abbas is fine. The boys are fine, it's their teacher. Don't let people tell you that. Where is deen, man? Where is deen? Where is the freedom to discuss? Even if, let's say this group was deviant, let us suppose, as people are saying nowadays, at least come and sit with these deviants, man, and listen what is deviant about them. So that when you go and make a judgment, at least you have some material there to say they're deviant because of X, Y, Z, not they are deviant, full stop. This is caveman culture. And people are not standing for it anymore, no matter what people try. All we are striving to do is raise the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa kalimatullahi al-ulya wallahu azizun hakim. The name of Allah is the highest. It should be high in public. It should be high within the soul. It should be high and first and foremost in our worship, etc. So I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us insaf, fairness, makes us not judgmental people, makes us people who would actually sit down and listen, and if there are issues you have heard, sit down and ask with respect, with intellect, not from 10 miles away, talk behind their backs, destroy their reputations, try and bring messages out here and there. Let us pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes His word high wherever it is. That He makes us of those who look with justice and fairness. And that He blesses us with the way of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala Muhammadin wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin.
Before we start the question and answer session, let me remind you again that no names should be mentioned while asking questions or passing any comments. Anyone listening on the web who would like to ask questions, please text your questions on +44 773 743 5293. I repeat the number. It's +44 773 743 5293. We start the question and answer session now.
Follow.
Send it to this one. Quick.
No, you can.
On the ladies' side, they can pass the question to Sister Ismat or speak on the mic. There's one mic there. And on the gents' side, we got Hussein who's got a mic, so if they want to. But first, I've already got few texts, 2-3 texts. I want to read those questions out. So if you hold on just with your questions.
Please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This question is for the respected Shaykh Bahmanpur. Thank you very much for your speech. You mentioned that the examples of the Quran are still alive. Are the likes of those who wrongly accused the Holy Prophet without verification, are their likes still present today? Those who called Prophet magicians, etc. Thank you very much.
Well, of course, their example is still alive. But as I said, we cannot ascertain, we do not have access to the batin. If this is going to actually be taken as a certain case, that's because people were telling Prophet was a magician, now such and such person are like the Prophet, and those who are against them are like those. This is not something that we can ascertain. Ta'wil is something that A'imma can do, not we can do. We can, of course, take some lessons, but remember, analogy is something which we cannot do in our faith, neither in fiqh, nor in kalam, nor in our behaviors. We can take lessons, but analogy is something that we say, أَوَّلُ مَنْ قَاسَ الشَّيْطَانِ. The first person who did analogy is shaitan.
Thank you. Rizwan, can I see?
Yes.
Because the number is my number, so I'm passing to send the text. There's a question for Shaykh Abbas Virjee, please.
Yes, this question is for Shaykh Abbas Virjee. The question is, Assalamu alaikum, for a lecturer to be told not to mention any names in his lecture, but then single out a group of scholars in public at the end of his lecture and speak to them in such a derogatory fashion is totally unbefitting. If the Shaykh wanted to give the other scholars this advice, he should have done this in a private manner. I trust the Hyderi EC will respond in the best appropriate manner and stand up against publicly humiliating certain scholars. Wassalam.
Shaykh Abbas Virjee has mentioned about a scholar like saying, for instance, clothing is attention seeking. Now this is because I've seen that video where a scholar mentions that.
Right.
Or they're saying the followers
Yes.
of certain teacher are wrong. They are wrong. The teacher is wrong.
Right.
So I think there's a slight confusion because not everyone has read the email or know what Abbas Bhai is talking. Am I right? Yes? That's what the text I'm getting. Slight confusion there.
No, I mean, if I may have indicated to the recent or incidences at a center where there were direct in one and indirect insults given, slanders, where certain physical characteristics like having a long beard and carrying a stick were mocked and made fun of, which are actual sunan and practices of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and said that those who have these kind of things these days are like punks who are seeking attention, and their parents did not take good care of them, so they dress in certain ways to seek attention from others. And this was allowed to be said, and nothing was said publicly to denounce such a statement from the member of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And also publicly open slander against our respected teacher was also allowed, and nothing publicly to denounce from that center. And I'm sure you have the links for these things, Dr. Liaquat, so those who are interested, you may send it to them.
Sorry, what, Abbas bhai, sorry, what links are we talking about?
The videos for that, which are on YouTube.
And who has produced that?
Somebody has produced that, so
It
they're on
doesn't say
YouTube.
the name. To send it something which has got no name on it, do you think that would be right, Abbas bhai?
No, I'm saying the video is there on YouTube, so you can send that link so people can see the
But
video that's
there's
there.
no
It's
name who has produced that video.
there. I'm sure there's a name, there's a YouTube name there.
Is there?
Have a look, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, if people want to know later on,
I have a question from
sure,
Sheikh.
sure, please.
This is a theoretical question, Shaykhana. You said that you will never ever leave this teacher, okay? So that means that you are assuming that this teacher will never ever commit any mistake. Is that right?
No, that's not right.
So if he commits a mistake, you will leave him.
Perhaps if you don't mind either of the lecturers, would you mind if you mention the name of the teacher? People might. No, I'm going to. No, everyone knows the teacher. A teacher.
Just a teacher.
Okay. All right.
Never will leave.
Chairman,
Brothers, can we please
you want to take care of this?
can we please have some order on the ground, please?
Yeah.
Brothers, I'll pass the mic around when the time for the question arises. In the meantime, can we please have a bit of silence so that the Shaykh can answer the question?
Yeah, don't.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think
I'll come round
we shouldn't
accordingly,
mention
inshallah.
the name of the teacher. I think let's skip that because otherwise we're talking behind his back. Okay, Abbas bhai.
I would just like to share with you something from, one of the first things when you enter the hawza that they teach you is from a book called Munyatul Murid. And Munyatul Murid talks about the respect that a student should have for their teacher. We spend months learning hadith, sayings of other ulama, and stories of how ulama that we respect today would respect their teachers. Let's look at Risalatul Huquq of Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam when it comes to the right of a teacher. The Imam says, it is the right of your teacher to respect him and respect the dignity of his audience when you sit with him, and to listen to him intently facing towards him, and to help him teach you knowledge which you cannot be without by reserving for him your intellect with presence of mind and purity.